with the Latin tree. In our flow, the two worlds meet. East and street boys bring the party. Bring the noise from Hialeah with some joy.
Water like that.
Well, I'm telling you, bro. I'm focused, bro. I'm focused, man. Yeah, inside out.
You know who I am by now. I said,
You identify as.
you know, hey. When Alex takes a shower, the dude goes for 3 hours. I mean, it's like, you know he's going to be gone for a while. You have time. Do whatever you're going to do. Go grocery shopping. Go eat dinner.
Night, Latin spice and neon lights.
All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to East 10th Street Boys, straight out of Hialeah. I'm Bobby El Gringo. See here, Alex just got in. Literally just got in.
Boom, baby.
Whoa. It's been a minute, my man. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good, man. And it's almost like God didn't want me back on right now. Like, legit, I'm trying to refresh the page. It won't let me access the mic. It won't let me access the screen. I'm like, damn, I told Bobby I was going to be on in 10 minutes. I've been doing this for like 8 minutes. I'm like, I'm not the super tech guy, but I could solve this issue, man. But I'm here, man. I'm here. I missed you, buddy. How you doing?
I'm doing all right, man. Hanging in there. I had basketball practice tonight and did that.
You
Ate
look
very
exhausted.
quick. I am tired. The kids were a pain in the ass. It is, you know, as is life, man, when you're dealing with 8-year-olds,
Yeah.
you know, as is life. You know, good thing that some of the dads stepped in and helped took care of that, but it was all good. We had a good run. Last Saturday was a good game. We were down. Our team was down, but Tristan, he shot a 3, got a couple layups. He was doing really good.
Okay.
But we were down, and then we started coming back, and we were down by 3 with like 5 seconds left. And
Okay.
the ball kept going out of bounds. So I said, Tristan, line back up at 3. And I said, you know, Lucas, you check it in. And Tristan, you got to catch and shoot. Just catch and shoot. You know, do your best because we're down by 3. And they finally got it. Tristan shot it off, got hit, missed the shot, but got the foul. So he goes to the line for 3. And so I tell him, I said, you know, I could tell he's all like
Nervous.
And I'm telling him, get out of your head, dude. I said, it's okay. Don't worry about it. You know, if you can make just one, it's good because we could just, you know, see what happens. Get the steal, put it back in, you know, and you can tell he's in his head, and he missed all 3. And so, after the game, of course, he was down on himself, beating himself up.
A quiet ride home.
Cry right home. Well, no, I was very proud of him because he had himself a good game, and even the referee came up to me and was like, "Man, if I could give him the game ball, I would." Man, he was fun. He was fun. You know, is that your son? He knows. You know, I was like, "Yeah." And so I felt proud, and I was trying to tell him, "No, you did good." And he was like, "No, I could have made those." So I was telling him, eventually I was like trying to be nice, and then he kept hammering home. You know, "No, I'm horrible." And I said, "You know what? Let me be mean. I'll be mean to you then."
Yeah.
I said, "You
suck, son."
I'm like, I said, what I told you, ignore the noise. Stop worrying about, you keep looking at the score. You keep looking at the score. Focus on making the basket. Don't rush the shot. I said, you're too focused on it. I said, you know what you need to do? Stop looking at players nowadays. Stop looking at the LeBrons and the Currys or whatever. Start watching Larry Bird and Michael Jordan and watch those guys. The guys that have ice in their veins. When the moment's on the line, they want that moment. I go, you want that moment. Everybody wants that moment. The game's on the line. I'm going to make the final shot. I said, you want that. So don't beat yourself up over it. And you know what? And I said, what you need to do when you get home, and this week, of course, it's been cold, but he's done it anyway. I said, go outside and you just keep shooting threes. Don't worry about, not threes, free throws. Don't worry about threes. Don't worry about all this extra. Keep doing the free throw until you realize, wait, when I do this certain motion, I'm hitting these shots. These are my best shots. Ignore all the extra noise. So that's what we were doing today. We did that at practice. I had the kids doing it. We had a good time, but it's kids, bro. But it was fun. It was actually fun.
There you go. The pressure's gonna. By the way, is the rim now like at 9 feet, or is it still at 8 feet?
It's still at 8 feet.
At 8 feet,
Yeah.
Okay. They got like one more year. Okay.
Bobby, be a leader of men. Tristan, damn it, you're embarrassing me out there. You're walking home. Yeah, I told him you go home, bro. But
Russ, Marlon's making move, Russ.
Oh yes.
Woo!
Oh, but he actually, I don't know if he reached out to you or not, but I'll tell you now.
Okay.
He wants to do a show, and actually, he just sent me this. And now that he's on here, you can answer live, and he can know your answer.
Yeah, go ahead.
But he asked me to reach out to you and Sammy. He's already talked to Evan. He wants to do a World Baseball Classic show. He's thinking about either the 25th of February or March 5th, doing a World Baseball
Okay.
Classic. They have Cuba represented
Yes.
Puerto
Yeah,
Rico, Canada. So
Okay.
there
That's
you go.
good.
So
I'm down.
he wants to know if you be okay. Cool.
I'm good, Russ.
So now we'll get more family talk in the way. Me and Alex, we haven't done a show in I don't know how many weeks now.
yes.
You know,
I
life
know.
is it happens. But there is so much to talk about, especially with the Miami Dolphins and the Miami Heat. So we're
Yes.
gonna get that out of the way because I see everybody putting in the comments now. What does Bobby represent? Everything. I am a man of all of all. Anyway, maybe not Canada because I don't know if I don't have any Canadian there. But anyway,
He represents America. Team America.
America. But we'll get to family later on. First off, Heat are playing right now. They're beating the Celtics, I think, by 9. Last I checked. I know not Jovic. Hawkes and Powell aren't playing tonight. Tyler Hero is. So.
Oh, Powell isn't playing either? I thought it was Mitchell.
No. Is it Mitchell or Powell? I thought it was Powell.
Mitchell's the one that's out. I think Powell's playing.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
I saw it before. I haven't seen the game. I just got home.
Okay.
So I
didn't see him. So maybe I'm
Okay.
off, but I thought he wasn't. I didn't think he
Okay.
was. But anyway. So Alex, no, we have not talked since, well, at least on air. We have talked off air.
Yeah,
But,
we have talked off air. Yes.
Bobby, I invited Bobby, but as usual, he declined. Politely declined.
This one was like, man, I'll see.
That sounds like more like a you thing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and pass off Alex for this.
Yeah. How about we don't and we say we did?
How about I just create the show and you do it?
I'll produce it.
I'll produce it. Meaning just create it and walk away. I'll fund the episode. Man. So Miami, end of the season.
Mm-hmm.
They finish it off with a loss. They go about it as if, they don't fire McDaniel right away.
Yeah.
They leave it alone. We don't. But one thing that Evan and I noticed right away, on the post-game show and the day after, even though we were having like, oh man, McDaniel's gonna come back. It is what it is. We'll wait for the GM to make that decision, which you're comfortable with. Miami's gonna start setting up the interviews for the GM. We noticed that Ross had not made no comment yet. Ross did not release anything.
Mm-hmm.
So then comes out the news that it's happened. McDaniel is let go, and Miami will look for a new head coach. They hire John Eric Sullivan from Green Bay, which I absolutely love.
Yep.
So, and now they are like nose deep in head coach search right now. They got like 11 guys that they're interviewing. So we're going to get into all those guys, but I want to get your reaction to what's happened so far since we have not heard from you. Was it the right decision for McDaniel to get fired before a new GM was hired? And what do you think of the new GM, the hiring of John Eric Sullivan?
Well, first part of the question, I wouldn't say I was surprised of McDaniel's firing. What I did notice is the timing of it. It happens after a lot of the interviews of new GM candidates. So that probably there was a consensus there that they had an idea that they wanted to work with another coach, or obviously Troy Aikman's involvement, which is by the way, it's a great influence piece of an outside voice, another outside voice, lending a helping hand in a search. And even today also, or this week, Marvin Allen was let go. So they've completely reshuffled the top of the food chain in the Miami Dolphins organization. So what I feel about McDaniels is he was a casualty of the time due to the change in regime. And it's funny because I think he would have worked fine with this GM. They seem to be very similar in certain things, how they value, how they see football. What I'm always gonna regret about McDaniel is that we're never gonna fully see what he's capable of doing with a quarterback of his choosing, a GM of his choosing. If he wanted to, pair up with another GM, the vision that he had, and you kind of see the importance or the value he has league wide due to all the interviews he's done. A lot of coaches want him for the OC jobs, so he's gonna reestablish himself. I personally think he should go for an OC job unless it's a head coaching job that he cannot turn down. But Detroit is a great fit. Tampa is a great fit, and there's a lot of rumors of him going to Tampa. He has the weapons. He could display himself and rebuild himself in for the next coaching hire in the next 2 or 3 years. But at the end of the day, this is something that we've asked for a very long time, and it's a complete reset. And Miami's still an attractive place. I understand our cap situation. Now, one thing that always comes to play is with the Tua situation, there's a possibility now that Tua could be our quarterback this year, depending on a new regime, if they do the proper evaluations. So it's like a full circle moment where he outlasts another coach. The situation that could come with his dead cap, what are they going to do with it? Honestly, the draft is not very quarterback heavy. So, and Dante Moore going back to school just would shock that as well. Next year's draft is going to be quarterback heavy and a decent class where at least 5 or 6 quarterbacks can go possibly first round, if anything. It's a blessing in regards to we've asked for this, and Sullivan was my number one choice for GM. And that's why I sent you a message. I'm like, I hope we get this guy because he has not only the football knowledge, the charisma, and the demeanor to lead this organization in a semi-reset rebuild, because there's a lot of pieces here that we have. This is not 2020 or 2019 when Brian Flores got hired. There's a lot of possibilities and there's a lot of pieces in place that in 2027 we should be clear. We should be where the Broncos are if we do everything the right way. So I'm happy for a fresh start. I'm intrigued by. I'm not upset about. I could always linger on what could have been of McDaniel, and I think he's going to improve, and he's going to be a great coach. And the experience there, the quality of a human being is never questioned. The quality in that building of who he was as a person and as a offensive mastermind is second to none. But obviously, it takes everything. When you're a head coach, everything falls under you. So I'm excited for what is to come. I'm not a big proponent, and I know we'll get into it. I don't need a veteran coach in a Harbaugh. I know Harbaugh's off the table already, or a McCarthy. But you got to get this hire right. You got to get this hire right, because even if it's a first-time head coach or a head coach that had a bad situation and had a negative record and is coming for another opportunity, it is very important that you have to get this hire right and a good staff assembled. And not only from the coaching part, from the scouting department. And that, to me, is what I'm more intrigued by this general manager. He's going to put the people in place that are making the decisions. And by decisions, I mean, before you draft somebody has to grade these players. Somebody has to go through the tape. That is where we have our main issues all these years. We miss on a lot of picks. So I'm just happy for a fresh start. And, hey, this is something we asked for a very long time, and it finally came true.
Yeah, so first off, it missed a lot of picks. Cam Smith was signed to the UFL today. So thank you, Chris Greer, for that. That's pretty cool. Signed for the United Football League. That's crazy. After a couple of years out of the league. Go figure. So very quick. Yes, Stephen Ross revealed that he did turn down $15 billion to sell the Miami Dolphins.
That's insane.
That he intends to keep it in the family. Exactly. Crazy, because the highest sale, I think, was $6 billion. So $15 billion he turned down because he wants to keep Miami, keep the Dolphins, and move and keep it within the family. And he brought up his son-in-law as someone who can run it after he's gone. Go ahead, Alex.
I think the one thing that he missed there, he said $15 billion, but that is also probably including the stadium and Formula One and everything.
Of course,
like the whole entity. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I already have my plan. If I ever make it big, if I get a billionaire, I'm gonna say, dude, you keep all that extra stuff. Just give me the stadium and the Dolphins, and we're good, bro.
We're good.
Just give me.
You can keep
we'll
Formula One.
The other stuff. I already have it in my head, dude. I keep Formula One. I'm not interested. I'm interested in football. That's it. What did his children do to him to deserve that? But also, Mike McDaniel, Darren Waller was in an interview today. And he revealed that he was actually having the exit interview with Mike McDaniel, and Mike McDaniel and him were talking, and McDaniel was like, hey man, would love to get you back next year. These are my plans, blah, blah, blah. Stephen Ross actually came in, interrupted the interview, the exit interview, joined in on the conversation, telling me, we really enjoyed you. Yeah, maybe you'll consider coming back next season. And then towards the end, they were kind of shitballing each other, talking, and Ross just stayed staring at him And McDaniel's kind of like, oh. And so Raleigh's like, I guess I'll see myself out. Waller went downstairs, got a massage, checked his phone. 20 minutes later, McDaniel got fired. So he actually was in the room when Ross came in to fire McDaniel mid-exit.
That's
interview.
insane, man. The timing of it, that's wow.
And you know what's crazy? You know, obviously we know how much Ross, quote unquote, loved McDaniel. He said it. He has never said it about any of the other coaches, but he says, I love Mike McDaniel, but we had to make a change. And again, I will say, I know I see some people on here, you know, on the Twitterverse, oh, see, Miami made a mistake because we didn't get Harbaugh, should never fire McDaniel. No, BS. It was the right move. You know, I was going to start living with it. I would live with it if McDaniel came back, if the new GM decided that, because then it's still a new GM. It's still a new scouting department. Marvin Allen is now gone.
Correct.
That's different from what we had.
Yeah.
But what we've been asking for as Dolphin fans is get a clean house. As much as you think like, hey, maybe we'll be okay if state they made the change. And so first off, yes, my preference is an experienced coach. However, because of and I told this to Evan, and I was on Fitz Talk today yesterday with Sammy, because of the way Miami has handled this, bringing in Troy Aikman for the general managers. Now he's a part of the head coaching search. That's an outside voice. Ross now brings somebody from the outside to not a yes guy. He goes and brings somebody from the outside to give him a different opinion, which works. He brings in not someone from anywhere, you know, nothing that's complimentary to him. Brings in John Eric Sullivan, and instead of right away hiring any guy from Green Bay, you see the wide net that they're casting for head coach.
Yeah,
not just offensive guys, it's defensive guys, not just experienced coaches. It's coordinators. You know, it's a wide net. Guys, they're entering half the league. I think that's great. Yeah, and I'll tell you, because yes, my preference is a experienced coach, but because of the way they've been doing this and the way now you got to basically Marvin Allen now is out the door. Two of the main guys are out. McDaniel Greer's out. You got a whole new front office, new scouting department's going to come in. I could live with with a rookie coach because one of these guys, because if it happens, because it's kind of like you're not gonna have to rush the process. Now they get to grow with the team. Here's the issue with McDaniel. I've said this to Evan before. McDaniel, kind of like with Tua, but really McDaniel, he was brought in here to coach Tua. He wasn't here to coach a playoff contending team. He was a young coach with a bad team, and but then all of a sudden, hey, you're here to coach Tua. Then they trade for Tyreek. Then they sign Taron Armstead or vice versa. Then they trade for Jalen Ramsey. Now it's, you got to win a playoff game. Now we're closing the 3-year window. Now it's a 1-2-year window. If you don't do this, now your job's on. But here, you bring in any coach, and that coach is going to have that leeway to go, hey, we're going to build this right. Because if anybody's expecting John Eric Sullivan to be some kind of aggressive GM and make a bunch of trades and blah, 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 that's not what they do in Green Bay. They build slow. They don't go and reach for a prospect. We were talking about this yesterday on Fitz Talk today. This is going to give whatever coach comes in here the opportunity to grow with the team. Correct. It's like, hey, you got to be patient. It doesn't matter what the record looks like. You know what the team is. You know what cap hell they're in. It's time to grow. One great point that Sammy brought up yesterday was Stefanski. Is that Stefanski has patience. He was with Cleveland so many years, so he could bring that veteran aspect, but also give him that patience. Rookie coaches, again, I'm starting to, because of the way Miami's done this, and that it's not like Chris Greer again, because it's a new GM and kind of new management in place. I've kind of warmed up to it. The guys, like, I'll tell you what, Halfley, I believe that's his name, from Green Bay. Yeah, I know a lot of people love on him because he's from Green Bay. I'm not too much of a proponent. I'm kind of iffy on it just because we've done that before too. It's like, hey, this guy's from here. I'm just going to hire all the guys from there. It's basically copycat. I like that they're interviewing everyone. The one thing I will say about Halfley that I like is listening to him. He comes off really well. He speak. You could tell like he knows his shit, and so. Maybe as a head coach, he might be the big surprise. I do know a lot. He's very popular. I could have my doubts about him, but I know he's interviewing with half the teams in the league. So Anthony Caponelli, from former linebackers coach for the Miami Dolphins, former Jaguars DC right now. He's a name that finally came up. He's popular amongst Dolphin fans. again, a leader of men, a guy that you like to see. And the way, what's famous is that Hard Knocks meeting, defensive
The
meeting or team
speech,
meeting,
yeah,
where
yeah.
he just goes off and, it sounds like a Tony Sperano, going on. He's very popular, and, it's evident. Another guy that, and we're talking about leader of men, Calvin Shepard, who came,
Yes.
from the line. He's the Lions defensive coordinator. I've loved everything I've seen on him. I know I don't think he's gonna get the job.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, like watching him, listening to him, I'm like, that's a future head coach. That's a dude who's a leader of men. The two guys, Minter is obviously a big name out there. What's his first name? Either way, Minter from Los Angeles, the Chargers.
Yeah, from the Chargers.
But the two guys two rookie coaches, and I'm like, I know Don Shula's grandson. Those two guys, Shula and Kubiak.
Yes.
I said this yesterday. I feel more comfortable with them than most rookie coaches, and I'll tell you why. Shula, not because, it's Don Shula's grandson. Not like that. I don't mean that. I don't care about Shula with the Dolphins. That's not Jesse Minter. Thanks, Evan. That's not why I think he should be the head coach of the Miami Dolphins, or he should be given that opportunity to be taken seriously. It's because he grew up in the league. He grew up in football. It's not just his grandfather, who was the greatest coach of all time. His dad was in football. His dad was a coach, I think. I think his uncle was a coach and also a player. He grew up in this league. He knows what it takes. He has resources that, like Evan would say, man, if he this guy, if he has this situation, who's he supposed to go to? Hopefully hires an assistant head coach. And guess what? He has a whole resource of guys. He goes to his dad. Hey, man, this dad's been there. He's failed. He's done this. He could go to his dad. He has all the relationships around the league. That's why, for me, I would ignore Chris Shula. Yeah, the last name is cool for Miami, but it's his legacy. It's that right there, the family tree. Same thing with Kubiak. Gary Kubiak's his dad. This guy's been in every different offensive system. His brother isn't a coach. There's a lineage there.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why, for me, I would like, I would hate one on those two guys. If Dolphin fans understand it, this is a building process. Trust the process. But I wouldn't hate those guys because they know what it takes, and they've been in this league. They see success and they've seen failures. So, and Jesse Minter from who is I think he was the defense coordinator in Michigan. He was a coach for a couple games.
Correct.
He went to the Chargers with Jim Harbaugh, and now he's there. And he interviewed with Miami today, and then Robert Saleh interviewed with Miami today as well. This is all virtual meetings, and which is interesting. Alex, thinking about the coaches we've had that we've interviewed. Let me see here, without having a paper in front of me with my brain. Anthony Caponelli. These are guys that are interest or being interviewed. Kevin Stefanski is interviewed in person. Clint Kubiak, Chris Shula's on deck. Robert Saleh, Patrick Graham, Shepard, Jesse Minter. I said Saleh, right? I said Saleh.
Yeah, Saleh. Stefanski. You already.
I said Stefanski.
You said okay.
Yeah. Lafley. I'm saying probably butchering that. Lafley. Hafley.
Yeah. Joe Brady. He got added.
Joe Brady. That's one of your guys.
Mm-hmm.
So, out of the names, which ones? Out of those names, give me about 2 or 3 guys that you really like. That you're like, I'm intrigued. Yeah. Give me a couple, maybe 2 or 1, whatever. That you scratch your head. You're kind of like,
Not necessarily scratching my head, but I think Kelvin Shepard is still not ready. I know he got the interview and all that, but I don't think he's ready per se to be a head coach. Patrick Graham was our DC when Brian Flores, so we got some familiarity there. He's growing as well. The ones, realistically, my top 3 in regards to youth and possibility. Obviously, the way I feel about Shula, the way I feel about. Oh my God, I just blanked out on him. The one that I told Kubiak. Those hires to me, when I see Kubiak, I think of a young Sean Payton, and I'm talking because people always forget Like, oh my God, Andy Reid. Yeah, but Andy Reid had to be hired by the Eagles. He was a rookie head coach one time, and you got to stick it through. So these are moments that you see. Kubiak might be ready for his shot. Chris Shula just became DC 2 years ago or a year ago,
Yeah.
but he seems to be ready for a shot. With Chris Shula, that's why I see that even Pittsburgh seems to be intrigued by him, because I see like a young Mike Tomlin in him. So there's similarities there, that when you're going to hire a young guy, especially with a team that is young, you got to go and you got to align the timelines. Now, to me, believe it or not, the safest pick, I know people might say McCarthy and all, but to me, the safest pick is Stefanski, because he's still a young coach, but he has the experience, and obviously through the turmoil in the Cleveland Browns situation, the only thing that's going to backfire on him a little bit is how he handled the quarterback situation, because everybody knew that Sanders should have been playing over Dylan Gabriel. That part right there, to me, I'm pretty sure is a sticking point in some of the meetings. But that does not mean that he's not going to get a job. I think he's going to be a head coach this time around. That's one of my safe picks. And the one I'm most intrigued by is Joe Brady. I've always felt Joe Brady seems to be like he has all the qualities to be a great head coach. He's from Miami as well. I know Shula as well is from Miami. So there's infinite possibilities here. The iffy ones, I love Saleh. And I think he should get another shot. And I think Saleh is a great head coach if he has the right offensive system in place where he trusts his coordinators and they have a great system. That to me is one thing. Finstanza, Mike Flores, and Brian. It'd be hilarious if they end up teaming up. That's going to be intriguing to me. And the one thing, Bobby, I was thinking about as it happened, but supposedly he wants to retire, where if I would have kept McDaniel, I know Mike Tomlin is going to take a year off. Obviously, at that time, we didn't know he was going to resign. We kind of have an idea. We kind of had everybody kind of speculated, like, when is Mike Tomlin going to stop? Because he looked tired. And supposedly, he says he wants to retire from football, but he could be an announcer for a year, and then another team is going to trade for him. So he's one of those coaches that if you keep McDaniel, you had him in the bag there. But at this point, you revamp your whole football operations, and you got to stick with a person that you believe has the same vision, but is a leader of men and can assemble a staff. Relationships are very important. I wouldn't discount anybody, but I think my pick would be Kubiak. I might be wrong. I might be completely wrong, but I have a feeling that Kubiak might get a shot here.
Yeah, so the official, even though there are some, they still have to interview Shula and all those other guys. Clint Kubiak, they've interviewed virtually. Stefanski, they've interviewed in person. Halfley, they've interviewed in person. And was it in person or virtual? I'm not sure. Maybe it's virtual. I think you got to wait till the 19th. And Jesse Minter, they interviewed virtual. So those are the four names. And Miami Sports says Stefanski's, look at the two teams that Stefanski coached in 2020 and 2023. That's why he won two-time coach of the year. Sure,
he still
coach. Won it though. He still earned it.
Great coach.
Because a lot of people thought McDaniel should have got coach of the year at one point, or was in line for that with Tyreek and Waddle and Mozart, who was second in the league behind Christian McCaffrey, and Tua was having a strong year and he didn't win it. So we can't knock a guy for having a good team if he did and lived up to expectations. But either way, so those are the guys. I'm with you. Again, the out of the rookie coaches, Kubiak is probably the lead on there, but I'm not really against any of them. Like I could learn to love it, because of the way the front office is built or is going to be built. This is a fresh start. We're going to have a new foundation, a new structure. I always said, no matter who you were putting into place, if it's the guys who laid down the foundation, the guy who was laying down the foundation, besides obviously the two guys that got laid off, was Chris Greer. That's gone now. So now and if you listen to what Sully said, general manager, call him Sully. He says I think John Eric or Sully. If you listen to what Sully said, physical team, playing in all types of elements. What's your philosophy? Football philosophy, brief football philosophy. All he said was win. This guy's no games, man. I just love the vibe I get from Sully, and that's great. And again, I love what Ross has done so far in regards of allowing us how this process is playing out. You know, and you can see probably the influence of Troy Aikman. Maybe we don't even realize it because we think we know Troy Aikman's new. The influence of the son-in-law, you know, who eventually may run this football team if, you know, God willing, the wife and him get along and they're still there. You know, but Ross said, you know, my daughter will take the team and my son-in-law will run it. You know, they already have that in place, Alex. You know, so maybe you know, they, you know, and I think they said he was the point person for the GM search. So
he was there, which is good stability. Good stability.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe he is. You know, we may not even realize that Silman is probably already kind of like Ross is the decision maker, but Silman's probably already hands on with this, and we might be seeing the outside influence of Silman, who eventually will take over the team if everything's still good by the time the daughter takes over. So I'm excited. Collis, what's up, Collis? I agree. I want Kubiak as our new head coach. Keep in mind, Kubiak is an OC with a defensive background. That's true. That's absolutely true. And, you know, that's one thing I do love. And again, who does he learn from? His father and his father's connections throughout the league with the Shanahans and et cetera. You know, Kubiak, you know,
they're familiar with the West Coast offense.
Don't get me wrong. Yes. But again, I want another rookie coach. I'm with you. I'm sick of it too. But I would have been livid if Chris Greer was still the GM and we were looking at rookie coaches. Because I'm like, that's where I'm like, but because it's a new GM, a new front office, you know, new guys in the scouting department, I get it. I would understand if he went the route of, I'm going to go get a young coach and me and him are going to grow together. I'm down with that. I could see that happening. And I'm going to tell you, just point of reference, so that way it's full disclosure. I'm not angry about John Harbaugh. I see a lot of people angry about it. I'm not, dude. No. It is what it is. Yeah, it would have been cool. Yeah, I would have loved to get an interview with it just to see. But honestly, I wasn't holding my breath. And it's not all end all. You know, Alex, did you care too much about John Harbaugh not coming to Miami? You know, he limited to 3 teams, but obviously got, you know, stayed in New York and took the job there. We're good for him. But how are you feeling about that?
I'm never a fan of those coaches that coach somewhere for like 15, 20 years and then they make a change of scenery. Why? Because he's stuck in his ways. There's things that he's not going to change. And his teams, what the owner said the other day was very true. His teams went through a lot of collapses there at the end in the last couple of years. He didn't lie. Everything the owner said was true. And the offense didn't adapt. They had Derrick Henry, and he's gonna bring that same OC over to New York. So the thing with John Harbaugh, what I didn't like is all the demands, everything that you had to meet, and his staff. To me, it's a very old. I'm not saying he's a great coach, but it's a very old mentality of how to play football. And I feel that when you drag your same staff over and over and over, there's no that much turnover. You kind of don't modernize certain aspects of what you want to do. Now, don't get me wrong. He could succeed in the Giants. I generally don't see it. I do not think that Giants team is going to be successful. Even though he has young pieces there, I don't generally see them being successful. And he, like I said, he's a great coach. But to me, this team's, the way it was supposed to be rebuilt or not, this team needs a fresh start. And over there in New York, he already has a quarterback. He kind of has things in place.
You know, if you were going between the 3 teams, not Miami, the Giants, Titans, Falcons, I think were the 3 teams. And he just decided to, you know, I know they gave full court press. If I'm looking at all 3 teams, I understand you got Jackson Dart there, but he's a rookie. You have Scatterbo, who was injured, you know, in the league neighbors. They got a young thing, but again,
they got a sort of squad.
A lot of question marks. If it was, you know, my thing is though, if like you're looking like, oh, I want draft capital, you know, I want money. Well, Nashville, Tennessee Titans, they got that, you know.
Tennessee's going to be a good job. Tennessee's going to get a great head coach.
Tennessee's good. Again, if McDaniel goes to Tennessee, it's Pickens. If McDaniel goes, that's what I think. Atlanta. Again, Atlanta, right? You know, you got Michael Penix there, but really you could get another quarterback, but you have Bijan Robinson, you got Drake London.
Yes. Kyle Pitts.
Yeah. You got to, and then I was surprised that he didn't at least, like, again, I know, Miami. No, I can understand Miami because, again, the quarterback situation is not looking good. The cap situation does not look good. You didn't get to hire your own GM, you know, whatever that may be, even though they talk. I get it. whatever. But in regard to the 3 options, I think it would have been wiser of him to explore all options. But he decided to go to Giants. Well, and of course, the mainstream media was pushing it. It was like, the Giants did, but it's like
that was already decided, man. You know how that is. That once that started coming out, and he'll take the interviews and all that. But once they gave him and they met all his demands, you can tell that was his preferred job. Even though he had time to analyze every situation, even before taking the meetings. So already those back channels are working and those meetings are taking place. So that was kind of a decision. But to me, if I'm a head coach right now, I'm looking at that Titans job, and you're about to move into a new stadium, which it's going to be a beautiful stadium. And I didn't even know they were building right next to it. I just saw a picture of it the other day. You drive by it every day. So how does it look? I mean, you don't drive by every day, but you live there. So how is it coming out?
Alex, is it time we state our demands on this network? What does that mean, Evan? What does that mean?
Oh.
I don't understand. I'm confused. Callis says, what about the LaFleur situation? Very interesting. Again, I will say, obviously, if he becomes available, obviously the connections are easy to make because of John Eric Sullivan and what he's done, right? You have to explore that option. However, again, I think I wouldn't hate for Miami to say, you know what, we want to hold on to our draft picks. This ain't going to be some kind of fast process. Sammy and I talked about this last night. Anybody that I would just say expectations should be low next year. I don't think it's fair to give high expectations for Miami next year. Has it happened before? Absolutely, it's happened. Look at Houston. Houston's done it, where they got a new coach, a new GM, a new quarterback, and also blew up. And I will say this. You said earlier that this is not going to be a strong quarterback class or a friendly quarterback. You're right that, those bigger names are not there. That should be. However, we never know. I will say that, truthfully, yes, if Mendoza was in the vicinity of where Miami's at, or Miami was in the vicinity of Mendoza, I'd be banging the table on Mendoza. I'm really excited for this national championship game. University of Miami, the U, baby, what a run in this college football playoffs. Like, what? Exactly. You're right, Ray. You're right. And that's the point. That there are some outliers there. I'm just saying expectations should be low, but I'm going to get to the point in a second. Mendoza, right? He's probably going number 1 to the Raiders, possibly. And he's been great these playoffs, but Miami's been really good. And I'm really excited. We're going to see a Miami boy, Cuban, Mendoza Heisman Trophy winner, Indiana, who's been great. We're also going to see the University of Miami, and it's at Hard Rock, at Hurricanes. Like, whoa. And I'm just very excited about that. And Canesville will be live on Sunday. Monday's the national championship. But Mendoza's out of the way, right? Number 1. Number 2, now, who's the 2 quarterback? Ty Simpson's going to be there, but I wouldn't take him at 11. Really, honestly, I'm not looking at a quarterback at 11 right now.
No.
Okay? There's one name that intrigues me, I will say, depending on what happens and depending how he does it during the draft process. Trinidad Chambliss, who's from Ole Miss, the Ole Miss quarterback. That kid, if it's not this year, next year, he looks really special. He looks like one of those. I'm not saying names like, I'm comparing him to this guy, but I'm saying he's one of those quarterbacks that Alex that like kind of comes out of nowhere and is like, holy crap, why did we pass up on that guy? Or
he made every throw. When I saw that Ole Miss game, how tall is he? Is he like 6 feet or 6'1", or is he taller?
I don't know. I thought he was taller, but
let me check.
What I was going to say was this is a year where like Miami, and there's a lot of good players at premium positions. You think about offensive line, you go right tackle with Francis Mamanoa from Miami, or Spencer Fanu, or Caleb Lemieux. Those are tackles out of Utah. Safety, is Caleb Downs, if he's actually there or not. You got McCoy, the corner out of Tennessee. You got my goodness, trying to remember, edge rusher, which is going to be a need. David Bailey out of Texas Tech. You have Ruben Bain, if he's somehow, some way there at 11. I'd go that route. And I wouldn't pass on quarterback entirely in the draft. Absolutely not. Round two, maybe wide receiver, because Tyreek more than likely is out the door. Waddle is an afterthought right now. We'd hope that maybe he gets some kind of fire under his ass with a new coaching staff. Maybe that happens. But round 2, maybe quarterback, maybe wide receiver. Chris Bell might be a name to look at out of Louisville. That dude's a stud. Maybe there's other names. And then 3, maybe that's when the quarterback comes in. If Drew Allar is sitting there at Penn State at round 3, you grab Drew Allar. I think that would be great. You put him, let him and Quinn Ewers and go at it in the quarterback battle for next season, and then the year after, if they don't work out, then you go and move up in the draft and get one of those guys, one of those good quarterbacks. You could do that. So, but Ray's absolutely right. There is a time where you get the rookie coach, you get the new GM, you get a new quarterback, and all of a sudden, wait, oh crap, everything clicks, and you kind of sped up the line. You kind of cut everybody. Go ahead, Alex.
I got a question for you, Bobby, because now with a new GM and the whole cap situation, I started thinking about this the other day. Because Tua did say about, starting fresh, a new fresh, a new place. There's gonna be a new regime. Do you see Tua as a viable bridge quarterback? Because you're gonna most likely draft a quarterback this year. If not, next year. Quinn Ewers there's gonna be an open competition. If Tua wins out, depending on who we hire as our coach, do you trust him this year as a bridge quarterback, not being in McDaniel's system? It could be a similar system. It could be if we got hire QB, it could be a West Coast based system. But do you feel that aside from yours or the quarterback class being the way it is, or free agency, because I'm intrigued by Willis, and there's connection there with our GM with Sully. So, but maybe Willis is going to be out of our price range, or do we obviously work our cat magic and sign Malik Willis? Do you feel comfortable with Tua as a bridge quarterback if ideally your goal is still to draft one of the higher top names, or not one to draft one of the top names in the quarterback position in 2027?
So, yeah, now that McDaniel is gone, I've said this before, so I will stay with it in regards to this. I said that because of the cap situation, what would happen, that it would be good to let, you hold on to Tua, you let him compete next year for the starting job. You still go get a quarterback, third round, whatever. You let him compete, and if Tua wins, great. If he doesn't, you have a decent backup who can come in for a game or two. God forbid something happens, and you're fine with it. Am I comfortable with Tua being a starter in general? As a bridge, that's different. But as a starter, like Miami saying, we're just going to roll with him, nobody's going to be comfortable with that. Nobody. And I think Miami's not. I don't think Ross is either. I think Ross is okay with moving on. I think he might be okay with biting the bullet. I don't think it's more about being in McDaniel's system or not. Because McDaniel's gone. The reason I say McDaniel being gone might help that cause. It's more because of their relationship more than the system.
Correct.
I'm done with Tua because I've had my reservations on Tua, and I've told you that throughout the years and since he was drafted. But you couldn't ignore that he was good when he was good.
Yeah.
But we've seen here, this is not about a system. This is not about Mike McDaniel's system. This was a big regression from Tua. There were things that he was doing that was like, that's not who we remember. That's not the guy, whether you liked him or hate him. This was just bad stuff.
2 years ago. That was not a guy from 2 years ago.
That's what I'm saying. So that's why I'm not comfortable, especially now saying, because we have everybody, let's just go ahead and roll with Tua and see what happens. And he'll be the bridge or whatever. Like, I could see where Stephen Ross and Sully, and they look at it and go, look, man, look what Denver did. Evan brought this up. And I don't want that big cap hit, but they might go, look what Denver did. They took the bullet, cut them, spread the cap out after June 1st, or trade them if you could. That would be better for like a low round pick, whatever.
Correct.
That could happen. But Evan says there, Drew Allar, right there. Drew Allar. Again, round 3, late. If you could trade back into round 2 and grab them, I'm down with that. And again, teams have done that. The Titans did that. They drafted Malik Willis in the 3rd round. They drafted, I think, Will Levis also in the 3rd round, I think. And it didn't work out with either one in Tennessee. So what did they do? Again, they got the number 1 pick. They got Cam Ward. So teams have done that, and I think that's a smart move to do. You go until you don't have it no more. And this is a perfect year for Miami to do that. You got Quinn Ewers. He was a mid, decent show.
But he's not it.
Great.
He's not it.
But he's not it. But if you want to let him compete with a guy next year, I think that's okay. Whether it's Willis or Allar, and then you let it be the bridge, and then next year you go get your guy. It's just gonna be very interesting, man. there is not one coach really that I know a lot of people. I don't want to see this guy. I don't want to see that guy. It's like, dude, stop. You know, it's not the same.
We're not in
old,
those
same
meetings. We're not in the interviews.
Like it's not the same old, dude. It's not Chris Greer making these decisions anymore.
Yeah.
You know, this is a new office, and obviously Ross, to me, especially when I see the way he's been talking, with the way Sully was talking earlier today in that video, and when you read about him and you're kind of seeing what Miami is doing, and you know that Silman's probably has his hand involved, and Troy Aikman, which again, I'm like at the boat now. It's like if they said today Troy Aikman's officially hired as a consultant, I would be down with that. I really would be. I love his influence so far, but maybe Dan Silman has a lot more into this. But because of those factors, I'm cool. If you told me tomorrow Robert Saleh got the head coaching job, I know they have a plan in place, and and at least it's a fresh start, and they're all on the same page. They come out with Hafley or Kubiak would be really great. I'd love to see, if the rookie coach. Shula would be really cool for multiple reasons, but also what I said earlier. Stefanski, again, veteran coach, experienced coach, which I've been asking for. It's just intriguing. They're all. I don't really have any real issues with him now. Again, Patrick Graham, whatever. Then you're like, but again, trust the process. Cullen says trust that Sullivan and company to select the right head coach. Trust the draft process and give it time, like fine wine, give it time. Colas, I love that, brother. That is absolutely right. That's because, again, if it was Chris Greer hiring that's when we would be like, oh, dude, it was stupid. I don't like this, blah, blah, blah. But because it's a new GM, it's a new regime, and they're going to pick their coach, that's when, Alex, we're going to say, hey, dude, let it go. Let this process play out. They got their guys. Not everyone's going to hit. Not everything's going to be great. It's just gonna let it play out, man. I'm excited for the future. I am. As a Dolphin.
One thing that intrigued me was that Anthony Weaver hasn't been interviewed for the head coaching job.
No.
So that means that he could stay as a DC depending on what happens, or he knows for sure he's gone. And because there's going to be a huge turnover of coaching staff. That's another thing. When you fire a head coach, like Robert Kraft stated when he fired Jerry Mayo, and he was talking about it yesterday, that is a hefty price. That's not an easy decision, because you're firing coaches, and the rest of the coaching staff, if they're still under contract, you have to pay those contracts too. So especially when you fire a first year coach like Kraft did, that is a heavy payday, because you got to pay now all those 25, 30 coaches that are under him. There are 3-4 year contracts that they sign. So in Miami, it's probably a little bit less, but there's still any coaches turnaround like that. It's a cost, which cost is not even a remote problem for Ross. So I'm down for. There's always some coaches that stay. I'm pretty sure like a lot of head coaches inherit certain coaches because they interview them and they stick with them, and some stability as well for certain players, some connections with them. But I'm down for a complete slate, even with Anthony Weaver. Like, I'm okay. His defense improved, but any head coach comes, like, another one. Raheem Morris from the Falcons. As someone, even as a DC, I'd be intrigued by him.
I'm going to be honest. I was actually hoping that they'd interview Raheem Morris for the head coaching job. And I know, I raised some eyebrows, but come on. But he's somebody who's done well in this league, and I know what happened in Atlanta, but Raheem Morris is somebody that I really like, and if we got him as a DC, I'd be really down with that. I would have liked if they interviewed him for the head coaching job. Miami Sports says just draft Malagoa and start from there and trade Waddle. He's not. So again, I would we're watching film and we're going from there, but I'll tell you what, if Miami went with Francis Malgoa from Miami at right tackle with Patrick Paul on the left side, maybe move Savanea to the right side at right guard, which should be the case. That's what they should have done from the beginning. You move him to the right side, and bring back Aaron Brewer. I'd be down with that, man. Again, Malgoa is a stud. So is Caleb Fanu and Spencer Fanu. Caleb Lamo and Spencer Fanu from Utah. Those are two very good tackles. Those guys are to be the top of the board. So Miami Sports, you're on the money, brother. Russ says big baseball news. Dodgers just signed Kyle Tucker.
Agreed to contract? Okay.
Oh, there you go.
Big money.
And the Heat were winning, and now they're about to lose to Boston 119-114.
I just read it, bro. You know what baffles me, man? And I don't know if it's a transition or not, and I don't know why it's happening. There's no way that Khalil Ware should be playing these amount of limited minutes in these games. There's no way whatsoever. And you know I love Spo. I love Spo with all my heart. I think he's the best coach in the NBA. But some of these rotations, I don't know if it's because of the trades that are coming up, the rumors that are coming up, but I have no idea why certain rotations he is so stuck on them that across the board, you can see that they can outperform other things. And the fact that a month ago, Ware was averaging a double-double as a starter with Bam, that it baffles me the way that we just go away from something. I understand players getting healthy and comes back, but Ware is a player that needs to be playing at least 20 to 25 minutes daily. There is no way he should be playing 9, 10 minutes. Like, that's impossible. Impossible to me. So, I'm just frustrated with him, man.
You know,
But it's a good segue.
I'm with you. I'm with you 100%. Yeah, it is a good segue. Let me just go ahead and check here. We are trading Jackson too.
Oh, Austin Jackson?
Yeah.
Okay.
Could be. We definitely need to trade up.
Simmons got and also Simmons going off for 39 points. That shows you what Davion Mitchell as well. That point of attack defense. I'm surprised Drew didn't play until the end. I was happy that Casper's got some minutes. I was just looking at the stats. But I don't know. It just I don't understand certain staggers of lineups that he's doing. So, but he knows
I will
more
say
than me.
too, Halfley. It's so true. Halfley is somebody where everybody's kind of off on. You know, Dolphins
Yeah.
kind of like, oh no, I've read this guy,
Yeah.
with this guy, but
It's not a
he's
sexy
getting
name.
he's getting a lot of job interviews around the league. So there's something the league knows that fans don't know.
Of course.
And that's why, and then when I listened to his press conferences, of course, we're coming off a bunch of and E and whatever with McDaniel. But when you listen to his press conferences, you're like, damn, that's refreshing. You know, I like that. I don't know. It's not a coaching thing. Like, oh, that's not going to tell me if you're be a good coach. But I do. When you tell me, when I look at these coaches, I'll go and watch their press conferences.
Yeah.
I'll go and I listen to them. And that's why I like when I look at Calvin Shepard, I was like, damn, not that I'm saying go bang the table for him, but Halfley's one of those guys where you listen to him and he's smart, dude. He knows what he's talking about and he's down to earth. And at the same time, though, you can see where he is a legit dude. He is a head coach.
Yeah.
College football, Boston College. So it's intriguing, man. I mean, teams know something that fans don't, and maybe that's why. Yeah, the connection with Green Bay, but maybe it's not just that. Maybe there's something the league knows, So I'm very intrigued. We'll see how it plays out. Of course, FTSN, we got you covered here. Everything we got. Finn's Talk today. We got East 10th Street Boys. We got the Draft Show. Which will be back in this coming week. You got Finn's Talk Overtime with Finn Stanza and Greg and Brett. Finn's Talk today with me and Sammy. You got Finn's Talk, Real Talk, Finn's Talk. Got a lot of Draft Dolphins content here. So we're going to be covering every bit and piece of this from all different kind of angles. Not everybody thinks the same, and we're in this process. So, if you're new to the channel, we got almost 200 people watching live. Where from X and Facebook and Twitter and YouTube, and it's all if you're anywhere other than YouTube, come on over here, hit that subscribe button and notifications bell. So as news breaks, we do go live. And talking about news breaking, let's segue for a minute here. Stay with us. We're gonna get back to Dolphins if there's some more stuff there. I see Collis just put a great quote.
Yeah.
I trust all in evaluating than drafting our first 5 picks of the top 100. Expectations are minimal, 100%. I'm excited with you, brother. Collis, stay with us, my man. Stay with us. I'm excited too because it's a fresh start. I'm excited to see how this is going to play out. I'm not going to say, oh, we should have got this guy. We should have done this. No bullshit. Just trust the process. Let it play out. There'll be guys that we like, but we'll see. Anyway, by the way, Omar doesn't like any of our head coaching candidates. What's new, Miami? What's new? All respect to Omar, but what the hell is new, dude? Whoever he wanted. Who knows what he wanted? There are guys that I prefer Miami had interviewed. I wish there were some names, like I said, Raheem Morris, Mike McCarthy, Ron Rivera. There are guys like, but you know what? I get the names of why I know the names that they've interviewed so far. I get it. I'm down with that. and we'll let it go from there. But let's get into it, man. Talking about breaking news. There could be some breaking news pretty soon if you're reading the tea leaves in Miami. And it's not the Dolphins, even though, yes, we're waiting for breaking news on a head coach. Breaking news in regards of a trade. We've discussed this possibility in the past. Ja Morant. There's a lot of noise around Ja Morant right now in Memphis. He's right now overseas. I don't know, they're playing in Berlin or something.
In Berlin, yeah.
And you know, him and Memphis are pretty much, that relationship is dead. And Memphis is looking to trade. We saw what happened with Trae Young. They trade him for a bag of potato chips. You know, you never think, you know, you thought of Trae Young a couple years ago. You're like, there's no way they traded for that. They did. They just got rid of him to Washington. It was like, that's the team you wanted to go to. Okay.
But yeah, he grew up there.
And
so.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah.
There's something. All right. I know what you're chasing. But with Ja Morant, former second overall pick, he was behind Zion Williamson, I think.
Correct.
And same draft as Tyler Hero, right? Yes. And so
yeah.
Was it? He was. Ball.
Or
yeah,
Bam.
Ball.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
It wasn't Bam. It was Tyler Hero. But so second overall pick, you know, star point guard, been on the edge of superstar, could be touching that.
Yes. Yeah.
But he's had a couple down years. And you know, with expectations, attitude, whatever. And we talked about that. Like, I was like, you know, I wouldn't want to give up the farm for him. We've discussed that possibility before. But, you know, you start seeing these reports come out, and, you know, you've seen it here where, you know, now they're saying, oh, well, maybe Memphis saw what people were saying. Now they're like, maybe that's what they were doing. But now they're like, no, we want draft picks or whatever. They're saying it's not going to take a lot to get them. I mean, I've seen Terry Rozier. The trade package I saw that was being thrown out there was Terry Rozier's contract. Fantasio, and these were two of them. Fantasio, Rozier's contract, and KJ. Jakunis. That's one I saw. Right? Fantecchio or Fantesio? Whatever.
Fantecchio.
Simone.
Simone.
All right, you got it. Everybody, we all know. Tomato, brother. And then the other one was Davion Mitchell's deal. Mitchell and Rozier's deal.
Yeah.
And I think a draft pick. I think that's what I saw. When I saw that, I'm going to be honest with you. When I saw those two deals, like those offered out there,
you didn't even think about it.
Send it in, brother. Send it in, bro. And like, because you know what that tells? First of all, there's two things I see there. Again, there's two things. One, you still have Tyler Hero. You still have Norman Powell. You still have your assets, not just draft. You know, you have Jovic and Jaquez and Khalil Ware. You're not moving any of those guys, and you're adding in Ja Morant. Right there alone, that should get Heat fans excited because now you think about those guys together. But then the other side of it, you haven't given up too much for Ja. If you do that, you still have Andrew Wiggins and Tyler Hero and Norman Powell. And, you know, where the Heat are right now, those, especially Tyler Hero more than anything, Wiggins as well, but you still have assets to make a follow-up trade. And a name that came up recently because he's officially demanded a trade, and Alex has been on this guy forever, is Jonathan Kuminga out of Golden State. So, which Golden State loves Andrew Wiggins.
Yeah.
You know, you could package up a deal which wouldn't kill you, really. I don't really think that you would give too much.
No.
And imagine if you were able to, like, maybe a Tyler Hero and or Norman or whatever, a Tyler Hero and Andrew Wiggins or Wiggins and something to go and get a Kuminga out of Golden State. And imagine you end up with a Kuminga after the trade deadline. You end up with Kuminga and Ja Morant with still your core intact mostly. That is very attractive. I understand, and I know you're probably going to throw this in here. I understand the idea of like, oh, you know, now that if you were to get a Ja, you still have all your assets left. You could go now and go get a Giannis. I would say Kuminga is more likely.
Yeah.
I would say Anthony Davis is a name to watch out for. That we know Dallas wants to move on from him. They want to, you know, it's a failed experiment in Dallas. They want to move on from him.
Yeah, they
so
just want to get younger.
Think about that. where Miami is at right now, and I think he got a second opinion, so he doesn't need season-ending surgery. You get Ja, you get Anthony Davis. He gets healed in time for, the 8th seed and the 7th seed, 6th seed, whatever, if Miami makes a run in the playoffs. That's not a bad-looking deal. So it's very intriguing. I'll say wait for that first domino to fall. If you're telling me Fentecchio, whatever I'll say, Simone,
just be on the safe side.
And Simone, I was just say Simone, Jakunis, and which again, I wouldn't be mad if we kept him, but I'm just saying those two guys and Rozier's Chakatunis, whatever, Caspers, and Terry Rozier's deal.
Yeah,
I'm bad with names. I don't give a shit. You live with it. You get if you do that for Ja Morant, I'd be open to that. I wouldn't hate that at all.
Yeah.
Or even though I love Davion Mitchell, and I know I'm saying his name right, Davion Mitchell and Terry Rozier and maybe a pick, I wouldn't hate that. Alex, you have anything against any of those type of deals? If that deal was to go down, would you raise an eyebrow? You'd be like, "That's good. We're good with that."
Oh, I mean, who would have a problem with that? The only problem is realistically, even if his value is down, I don't think it's just going to be expiring deals because he has 2 years left on his contract. So there's team control there. This isn't like a Trae Young situation where he has a team option. And obviously he was traded because Trae Young and Ja Morant are not the same players. Trae Young obviously is an offensive juggernaut, but Ja Morant is way more physical, even though people are going to throw out his metrics, his shooting percentage. I attest to Ja Morant's situation right now, kind of like how Vince Carter was, and a lot of people probably even don't remember this, when he was traded from Toronto to New Jersey. That last year when he was traded to New Jersey, his numbers were down across the board in Toronto. He was basically playing half-ass, and I think that's what Ja Morant is doing. I don't think he's playing to his full potential right now. I don't think he's comfortable there. He has not demanded a trade. This is all Memphis wanting to move on from him and moving on from his contract. But they're just not going to sell off his contract. This is just not going to be a salary filler. And realistically, in order to get something great, you got to give up things as well. So Memphis is going to ask possibly for Jovic. I doubt they ask for Jovic because of his contract. I think they're going to ask for Jaquez. They're going to ask for Ware. They're going to get told no. I'm pretty sure Miami will entertain Jaquez. They might ask for Larson. They might ask for other young pieces. Because to make the salary work with Ja, you don't have to do that much because his contract doesn't really kick in. It jumps next year. He's right now at $39 million. So that's why you could do Fontecchio and Terry Rozier, or Terry Rozier and Davion Mitchell. Now, I think a realistic trade is the Fontecchio, Caspers, and a first-round pick. I think that's fair value because you're getting a young point guard that Memphis is drafting really well. If I'm Memphis, realistically, I'm pushing for my draft picks. I'm probably asking for 2 first-round picks. And even then, I think it's still value for who Ja Morant is. Not right now, but it's value for him. But they have no way of assessing that because the league right now as a consensus is not giving up draft picks for Ja Morant. They're not. They're just not doing it because his value is at an all-time low. This is an expert Miami Heat move. This is a Pat Riley move. You buy a distressed asset at his lowest value. He did it with Timmy. He did it with Mashburn. He did it with a bunch of people, with a lot of people don't even remember now. He did it with Shaq. And Shaq, you can say, was a distressed value at the time. With Walker, with Jason Williams.
I did it with Joel Embiid in 2K.
At 2K. Do you see? You got that. You see?
I did it with Joel Embiid, brother. We won 2 championships. And I traded him before he totally collapsed. And we just won our 3rd a year after. So,
perfect.
It's
managing. It's managing your team, bro. Managing your team.
Don't worry. You're the head coach of my summer league team there, brother. I got you as my summer league coach, brother. I got you.
Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it. Thanks, man.
You're in charge of my
working my way up. Your development.
I'm waiting for Spo to retire. He hasn't retired yet. We're 5 years in. I'm like, retire already, bro. He doesn't want to. He wants that 1,000 wins.
Just fire him.
Fire. The biggest controversy ever. It's a lot of fun. I love doing that, dude. I love playing that.
It's amazing, bro. Anyway. It's amazing, and it's a legit. You feel like a GM. Like you feel like a legit GM.
You're like, man, I traded for Embiid, and it didn't really.
Who'd you give up for Embiid? Who'd you give up for Embiid? Was it Bam?
No.
Oh, you team him up with Bam. Okay.
Yeah, I teamed him up with Bam. Bam was the power forward. I traded Tyler Hero and I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, because you have to make the salaries work.
Yeah, Norman Powell was the small forward. Hawkins. Remember, this was a year later, or a couple,
Yeah,
like
a
a
year
couple
after.
years later.
Gotcha.
Hawkins, I moved at shooting guard. I think it was Hero and Jovic, I think.
Okay.
And I forgot what else I had.
Yeah,
but anyway,
package there. Yeah.
but it worked. I mean, it wasn't like it wasn't. It was like it wasn't the greatest record, but we made it through the playoff, won the championship, won it the second year. But I started noticing, from like a 90 dropped to a 70 dropped to 84. And I'm like, I was like, you know what? I'm not doing Shaq, brother. We're not gonna do the Pat Riley. We just kind of stick through. No, we're gonna move it, and we moved it. I had that second overall pick from a trade I made previously, but then I moved up to the number 1. So I had 1 and 2. Got 2 young players.
Holy shit! You have back to back.
Yes,
that is amazing, bro.
We missed. We got eliminated in the semifinals. Went back, won the finals the third year. So I got 3 rings. I'm sitting there. I'm like, hey, Alex, should we make this trade? No, Bobby, I think we can hold it. No, dude, we're good. We're gonna make the trade, bro. We're gonna make that trade. Let's go.
I'm gonna ask.
Bro, it's funny. The way I play this game,
I want to do a simultaneous
yes.
franchise mode. You and me. You pick a franchise, I pick a franchise, and we give ourselves a decade. I want to see how we do.
Alex, I've told you this before, and I mean this. I do, like, especially if I will play that game, and I do think, like, if I'm looking at trades, I go, I don't know. I'm like, what would this doofus tell me right now? I'm like, so hear voices in my bro, Bobby, bro.
The inner basketball voice. There you go.
No, Alex, I own the team, bro. Yeah. Alex, I'm the owner, bro. Really, bro, Bobby, that's what you're gonna say, bro? Like, the whole argument. I guess I was right. Alex won 3 rings.
It's a fake goddamn team.
Yeah, it's like I've won 3 rings. Yeah. But anyway, back to reality.
Yeah.
But anyway, Alex. So let's say they do that trade.
Yeah.
Right. I kind of threw those options out there. Let's say they do the trade for Ja. Right. They still got Tyler. They got Wiggins. They got Powell. And the way Miami's kind of going, I've seen Powell's name being floated out there. I forgot who brought it up. I think it was oh my gosh.
And Hero's name too. Remember the extension here. I don't think they're gonna move Hero, but I would not discount it. And I think they're saving him for the right move.
That's what I'm saying. If you could get Ja without moving Hero, first of all, that alone is intriguing.
Yes.
Because
it could be Fontecchio. It could be Fontecchio and Hero. If you, for example, if you just move for Morant, if you're not going to extend Hero, you can move Hero and Fontecchio for Morant. But then that limits you. What are you going to do with the other pieces?
That's what I'm saying. But if you keep Hero and you still get Morant, you trade Fontecchio and you trade KJ and Rozier's deal, and you still have all those other assets, Hero, Powell, Wiggins, and then, of course, whatever. You could go and make that subsequent move, the secondary move, to add on to that roster, whether that is a Kuminga or a Davis, or if you want to try to shoot for the stars and say, hey, can we make a deal now with Giannis?
Yeah.
Again, Giannis is going to take so much more. That to me is like a pipe dream right now. But Kuminga, thinking about what he can do within this rotation. But again, you bring up a great point earlier. I'm with you. Spo is the best coach. I love Spo. But there's times where it's kind of like, what is this? Why are you staying in this rotation? Why are we not putting Khalil Ware out there? Why are we not even Hawkins? Sometimes I'm wondering, why is he not out there? There's a lot of times I'm kind of wondering, because you brought up Hawkins, and I will say this, like, I'm more than ever kind of like against moving Hawkins.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong. Again, if it's for the right move, and I don't know if Ja's that when he comes that way, but if it's for the right move, okay. If you're getting some mega star, that's different.
Of course.
Hawkins this year has shown, especially this year, has shown that there's still some ceiling there, but also he's so consistent, even when he's not scoring.
He
has such an impact. Alex, I mean, I watched the team in general, but when I look at Hawkins, man, like, I'm like, dude, this kid, man, I mean, he's all over the court, offense, defense, rebounds, assists, and of course, then scoring when he adds that in there. Like,
when they won against the Suns, Hawkins was basically the point guard down the stretch because Davion Mitchell was hurt.
Yes.
They won because of Hawkins. Are you kidding me? Yeah.
That's why I would tell you, like, for me, Hawkins would probably be next to Khalil Ware, but Hawkins would probably be the one who was like, hey, that's your last, that's like your last, you know what I mean? Like, do not, like, if you have to, if it's something crazy, okay. But That dude is like, that's the one you want during the playoffs. You know,
the thing is, teams are going to ask for him, and I think
Yeah.
teams are a little turned off by Jovic because of his contract. Hawkins is still not,
and because he's been
Correct.
this season.
Correct.
Jovic has not shown that growth yet.
Correct.
You know, really, and again, what you're hoping with Jovic is that upside. You know, it's like, oh wait, there's some up there's some
and he plays great next to Khalil. Like there's lineups here that we could be running, man, where it's Khalil, Jovic, Wiggins, and then you have Jakachonis at that time as well. Even Larson, to me, you know, was one of the things, Bobby, right now, even without any moves, I believe Ware should be starting next to Bam. I believe Wiggins should be coming
100%.
off the bench. I believe Wiggins should be coming off the bench. Even if it's Larson, I believe right now you can go Hero, Powell, Larson, Bam, and Ware. That should be your starting lineup. You could bring Davion off the bench with Drew if you want. You got Hawkins off the bench. You got Ware off the bench. No, not Ware. You got Jovic off the bench, and you got Wiggins off the bench. Wiggins in that second unit with Hawkins, they actually play very well together. So there's formulas here that actually work. And there was a person, I think his name is Coach Gio. And when he posted that, I think he because he does a lot of work with 5 Reasons Sports with Ethan Skolnick and all that. And I saw him post that, and I'm like, dude, that is perfect. That is legit what should be real running. And it's something that we've thought about forever. I understand the point of attack defense with Davion Mitchell. I understand Davion Mitchell pushes the pace. But lineup cohesiveness, synergy. You have seen that it could work with Bam and Ware because Ware can stretch the floor. Ware right now is still top 4 in rebounding in the NBA with limited minutes. Like it works. I don't know if they're holding him back because the one thing that, Bobby, when you're talking about the pipe dream with Giannis, I find it very difficult for Milwaukee to do an in-season trade with Giannis. They're looking like they're pushing to go all in to try to make him happy.
Yeah.
So I find that very difficult.
Make a move to make him.
Yeah. So that's one thing that I keep looking at. Now, I know Dallas is going to make a move. My question is, how much is Dallas willing to move? Are they willing to move also Kyrie? They're going to move Clay probably. They're going to move Anthony Davis. They don't have to, but they want to. It's the right time to do the move. Kuminga needs to be moved, but there's a bunch of other players that always surprise people that are like, wow, I didn't even know he was available. There's probably some people from Toronto. Yeah, go. Oh, Chicago, Vucevic.
Sorry,
I think we can acquire Vucevic. We can acquire Vucevic as part of a deal as well.
Who would you rather have?
Yeah.
Right now, would you have? And I think you got to add into what you're going to give up for both guys. Would you rather make a move for a Ja Morant, or would you rather make a move for a Kyrie Irving?
Oof, man.
Now consider not just the player, but also consider what you're going to have to give up for that guy.
Shit. Kyrie is the better all-around player.
That does come into play.
It does come into play.
100%.
Kyrie is a better all-around player. I wanted Kyrie when we got Kyle Lowry. I think he would have fit perfect in this team. But the fact that he's only 26, I'm gonna go for Ja. Because there's a level there that he can get, and it aligns with Bam, it aligns with Hero if he's still here. Ja really hasn't reached his full potential as a basketball player. People think about this, he's just a freak athlete, but in the right situation, there's another level there that he can get back to. And also marketability with Kyrie as well is huge. But basketball wise, I still think I'll go for Ja because I got more years for Ja. And I don't think right now Miami's really in a title window as we speak. So Kyrie is better suited for another, like a playoff team, which is insane. Like Boston right now can use Kyrie. But you see, Detroit has Kate Cunningham. Detroit is one that's going to make a move. I'm intrigued because a lot of people are talking about Ja Morant, but I'm intrigued if Memphis, if they move Jaren Jackson, there's teams there that can make a move and go all out because they're right there, And like I said, OKC can mess this whole up. San Antonio, can get in and blow this league up with depending. Oh, and Wemby got hurt today, so that's another situation. But
Oh, really?
I'm just
I didn't see
intrigued,
that.
bro. Yeah, yeah. Oh my God, Kyle Tucker's. I just saw it. My bad. Kyle's contract with the Dodgers is 4 years, $240 million. Baseball's just stupid money, man. Like, there's so much money in sports right now, bro. It's insane.
Oh,
But yeah,
man.
to answer your question, I will stick with Ja.
Let me
Now,
see
I'm
here. I'm trying
intrigued,
to see
Bobby,
if
by
I'm-
Kyrie because of Anthony Davis. Like, if there could be a package deal there, like, I still think Anthony Davis finds himself. I would not be upset with taking Anthony Davis because he has 2 years left in his contract. It gives us a 2-year window. We can make the money work, but no matter what, whatever we do, I think this ends up being a 3 or 4 team deal. I don't think it's going to be a straight up Miami-Memphis deal unless it's at the last moment. Memphis has to move on from Ja Morant. But even if I don't like the deal, I make it work with Ja Morant
When's the
because
deadline?
February 5th. We're 2 weeks away.
Okay.
But today is the day that players that sign contracts in the offseason are eligible to be moved. Certain contracts. So that's what Davion Mitchell could be moved today. A bunch of players could be moved today. No one's going to get traded today, but still, it opens up that window.
For sure. Man, it's to be interesting, man. There's so much stuff going on with Miami. And I didn't, and it's that subsequent move that nobody's talking about that I think is intriguing to me because once I saw that type of trade packages that could be had for Ja Morant, I was kind of like, wait a second. I was like, if they actually were able to pull that off, they could turn around and grab another guy, and that still wouldn't kill you because then you're really in, that might be a different look. So we'll keep an eye on it, man, and I'm intrigued to see how it plays out. Same thing with the Dolphins right now. Again, Miami finally did it. Ross finally did it. He cleaned house. We got a new GM. We're going to get a new scouting department. It's going to be a very interesting and intriguing offseason in regards of once we get our head coach, trying to figure out what's next, and it's fun. It's going to be fun, man. But man, let's get into very quick. We're close to wrapping it up, but
yeah,
how are you doing, dude? How's everything with you, brother? It's been a little bit since we've got you on here. How's the family doing? How's your son, daughter, everyone else? How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. We're doing all right. Obviously, they enjoyed Christmas break, and for full disclosure, obviously, I've been away for a month because my father is in the hospital. He was in semi-critical condition. There was a vascular procedure. He's up in age, so it was around the clock. He's still in the hospital, and he's gonna possibly go into a full rehab center within the next 3 or 4 days. For full rehab, obviously he is conscious. He's eating. He's my dad's a fighter, but he needed around the clock care. So I've really haven't worked almost like in 3 weeks. I haven't done any shows. Obviously, Bobby knows of this, but since Christmas Eve, we've been in Mount Sinai. Which, by the way, a huge shout out to the surgical teams in Mount Sinai, both vascular surgery, cardiac surgery. They're the top notch. Anybody from here, from Florida, from Miami, knows that if you have any issues ever in regards to cardiac issues, vascular issues, Mount Sinai is the place to be. So I'm just grateful, because at the end of the day, me and you have always talked about this. We understand, we're realistic. Like, my dad has always been a realistic person. He understands the situation. But there still comes a moment that, and obviously you losing Ralph this past year, you understand your mortality. You understand your lifespan, and you see the full circle of life when the people that give you life are basically counting on you as a support, as a beam, as a structure for them. It's a very humbling experience because those people have made decisions for you. Now you're making decisions for them, and you're being that helpful hand. And in those moments, that's when you really appreciate everything of life. And it also gives you a different perspective, especially in the time, Christmas times is usually a sad time. It's a happy time, but it's also a sad time because you remember a lot of the family members you lost. a lot of the family members that are not there with you, you still rejoice and you remember those times. But it was just, it's a humbling experience, but it's also, there's a positive outcome of, they don't make them like they make them they used to make them anymore, bro. Like our grandparents, like our parents, like these people are strong. They're built from a different cloth, man. And you just admire that. You admire the fight. You admire the will. And then you just there to lend, your emotional support and obviously psychological support, physical support. But it's also cool. It's also cool to get back. And I have missed you guys. But this is kind of like life coming back a little bit to normal. And also, even for my basketball team, my family. That's the one that I really want to give a massive shout out to, my wife, because I've barely been home for the past month and a half, and she's kept us afloat. She's kept our kids afloat, especially during Christmas break, making sure they had their activities, that were there with their friends, so I could take care of my parents. So that it's truly a huge support system, not only for our fans, but for you, my brother. You obviously keeping in touch, making sure everything was all right, anything I needed. Those are in the moments of needs, who truly is around you and who truly loves you and is there for you. So to all the people also that have given me, messages, emails, and all that through this time, I truly appreciate it as well. And my dad obviously sends his regards as well, because every message you guys give me, I relay to him. So he also sends his love to you guys and his appreciation for prayers and all that. So, but it's good to be back, man. It's good to be back. I miss talking to you on air, for the most part.
For the most part.
Love you, buddy. Love you.
But I think I love you too. The
I was a weak ass.
Sure,
I was a weak ass. I love you too, bro. Say it with your chest, little nigga. Say it with your chest. I love you. I love you.
Oh God. For FTSN's I love you, bro.
Yeah.
I love you, man. This is my brother right there, dude. There you go. I know. I think Alex has that bad Wi-Fi, so he's catching me late. That's why.
Yeah, I am.
He's so late.
I'm sorry.
Right now.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
It's horrible. No, it's all right. Overtime. Fitz Talk Overtime is live tomorrow with Greg and Finstanza at 8 p.m. Eastern time here on FTSN. Make sure you guys check that out. They'll give another perspective, of course, of the head coaching search, any updates that's going on there. Alex and I will be back next week. We will let you all know on a time. Of course, I will be back every other day, usually. I'll be Thursday nights now. We'll be doing Fitz Talk today. Me and Sammy, Alex and I. Alex usually has practice on Thursday nights, so probably Friday or Wednesday, depending on Alex's schedule and life in general. But anyway, we appreciate everybody tuning in. Thank you all so much. That's Alex. I'm Bobby. Like and subscribe, and good night, Miami.
Peace. A nice chilly night in Miami.
Yo, gringos in the house. Straight out of Hialeah, no doubt. East 10th Street, where we play out. Here we bring the Miami crowd.